Welcome to the Playroom, everybody. It's your boy Flav Beats, and we're about to bring in an amazing guest by the name of John Patrick. He's been doing a lot of work, a lot of great work, and I can't wait for you guys to listen to everything he has to say. He has a lot of updates coming soon, so you guys have to stay tuned, stay blessed, and listen in. Tap in, by the way. Check out playinc.online to get every update possible for your benefits. This is a Friday. It's a blessed day. Thank God it's Friday. So we're about to get it started, and I can't wait for you guys to listen to what John Patrick has to say. So it's lit. Yo, welcome to the Playroom, bro.
Well, it's really groovy, man. I always get the times messed up. You know, you're on the East Coast.
Yeah. How you been, though?
Been blessed, man. Been blessed. Definitely. Can't complain. That's the last thing I'm gonna do is complain. So I've definitely been blessed, man. What about you?
I've been blessed too, bro. It's been an amazing month. You know, the year is just looking really, really good. Everybody is trying to set their mind for the next season, and I'm just trying to tap into my season.
Guys, yeah, and 2020 is definitely a couple perspectives you can look at it like. You can look at it like, you know, the world is on fire, but in science, man, we learned that when things burn down, that kind of gives leeway for something new to grow. So it's like everybody asked for 2020 vision, and then this year when they started seeing things clearly, you know, they everything got exposed and they start running around with their head cut off. So yeah, it's perspectives, the ways you can look at it. It's definitely been a lot of tragedies, a lot of trials, a lot of negative things that have happened. But the way that you spin it, the way that you look at it, will really give you a whole nother view on everything that's been happening since January 1st, 2020. So thank God for that. Thank God for perspective.
Thank God. It's an amazing time to just think about all the good stuff that you can be able to put out without having to be so specific on things that you can change, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But sometimes we understand things before, you know, general public does. So sometimes you kind of just got to let everybody catch up to speed, and you kind of just got to, you know, have grace if somebody doesn't understand something like how we understand it, you know. I learned that with my students. Just got to have grace and let people figure it out. We can't rush somebody to learn something. You kind of just got to let them figure it out. So that's how I feel about what you just said, and possibly not everybody understanding that, you know.
And it's fine, you know. It's fine when somebody doesn't understand those things, because it's not always going to go their way. So when they do understand it, it actually comes at the time when they actually need it.
Facts.
Yeah.
No, that's when I got it.
Exactly. How do you look at it?
Nah, that's what I'm saying. I completely agree. I know that's when I really needed it, when my back was against the wall. That's when these things start opening up, you know. I'll cry out to God, and God's like, yeah, that's what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for you to need me completely and not rely on nothing else. So everybody comes into that moment on their own term.
Exactly.
You know, unless you're ready for life, and then you never get to feel that glory of that moment, and just knowing that, wow, I don't have to fight this. Like, I have the ultimate fighter on my team. Like, so
yeah.
And I could talk all day about that. So
exactly. Okay. How you feeling now that, you know, months have passed, people have really, really consumed the material, but I feel like there's still more for people to really tap into, because people like bite-sized information, but you have the full picture. So how are you painting your picture right now? What is it looking like? What's the canvas looking like?
So, at this point, it's just like we talked about earlier about perspective, man. Perspective is everything. So what I've been understanding, I mean, there's no label behind me. I have a team, but it's an unofficial team of people that just really support me, and they're not unofficial, but as a team, we're unofficially, united. And what we're trying to do is just create our own narrative and push the narrative that we want the people to see. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we just follow whatever the narrative that the media puts out, not knowing that there's somebody behind that media that's creating these narratives and putting them out. So once we realize that we can utilize that for our benefit, it's like, all right, that's the story. So now, narrative we really want people to understand is that things is always deeper than the surface. Things is deeper than the surface. So, like, when it comes to my lyrics, yeah, I'm blessed by God to be able to create music and come up with flows and melodies that people naturally love to listen to. However, I feel a different responsibility to put a message in there that to some people might be hidden. If you're not really listening, it might be hidden. To others, they're getting it right away, and they're really appreciating the levels of it, the layers of the music. If you listen to Kendrick Lamar, you can enjoy Kendrick Lamar top to bottom by just listening. But when you're actually listening to his lyrics, or when you find out what he meant in certain parts, it's like it just takes you to a whole nother level with the music. So that's what I'm on. That's exactly what I'm on.
That's what's up. I like that. I like the fact that you put out that people love to listen to music, but when they listen to music the first time, they either love it or hate it based on how the first 5 seconds felt.
Yeah, I've heard 5 seconds, 15 seconds. Yeah, that first is a vibe. It's a vibe. It's the energy that's still being processed through the music. When you hear dun 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 dun, I love you, dun. Like, you can't be like, this sucks, turn this off. Like, it's just embedded in it. You know what I'm saying? Before you even hear one word. You know what I'm saying? So it's like music has an energy attached to it. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know all of the right terms and nuances of the motion and vibration and all that stuff. I'm not deep into it like that, but I do know that, you know, one, that music can heal, and two, that's because music has this universal like energy, a part of it that it either hits or it doesn't. Either it sticks or it doesn't. And so in different times of your life, something could stick and something couldn't. So I just love this is why I'm here. This is why I'm making music for the rest of my life, because everybody's reception of the same sound could be similar, but everybody's is unique. Everybody's is different. So
yeah. Everybody's unique, everybody's different, everyone has something to bring to the table. And when people come back to you and tell you about your music, how do you feel when they express their truest form of expression in context to whatever they've heard, experienced, or felt because you said something that resonated?
Majority of the time, I feel valued. So I do. It's not that I get validation from it, but I do get confirmation from the value of somebody, you know, saying like, your song did this to me, or these lyrics hit, or I definitely feel that, or I can relate, or I had this on repeat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it builds me up as well, you know. And so, but then on the other side, in my head, I'm knowing like, somebody could be like, bro, that was fire. And in my head, I'm like, you probably ain't really get it. Like, if I go into breaking down the lyrics, you know, the tracks, you probably gonna be like, what? That's what you meant? Okay, see, that was too much. See, that was too much. I wasn't thinking I wasn't thinking that deep. I ain't put that together.
Right.
You know, and that's pretty much how it is with every song, literally. So like Young and Dumb, like you can listen to Young and Dumb top to bottom and just enjoy the flow, enjoy the melody of it, enjoy the words too. But if I start to really break it down, it's gonna take it to another level.
True. That's a fact. And I'm thinking based on the lyrics that you mentioned and how people resonate with what you said, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, that's what you meant. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, people look at that and they're really, really stunned, because that first dopamine effect really takes them to the next song, and then they now want to vibe with it, and they're probably listening to that song in a place where they need it the most because they press play. So now, looking at the post that was just done today on your Instagram at San Boom Kid, there are two people that gave comments. I don't know if you've seen them yet, but it was about an hour ago. And the first comment was from the tag Better Than Art. Shout out to Ashley Lewis. And she said that Night Crying for sure is hers. Now, the next comment that brought up a lyric is from Mama Vine. And she said Up Down for me. So when you listen to those two tracks and then you listen to how they're responding, how do you feel like when they actually get the message that you were actually trying to send?
See, and that's what I'm saying. I personally know both of those people, and
yes,
I know they gonna tap in, because some people that already know about, already been around, they know what to expect when it comes to my music. They know I'm not just sitting here just rapping about anything. So when they're saying Night Crying, when they're saying Up Down, that's because they kind of know they know the real behind it. You know what I'm saying? They're completely tapped in. You know what I'm saying? So they know what's up. So when I see that, it's just like one of those things where it's just like you look at your friend, you don't even have to say nothing. You just like, yep, this it right here. You know what I'm saying? So in those situations, you know what I'm saying, I look at it like the more that I explain, the more they're going to be in love with it, but they already are in love with the story behind it because they know the story. You know what I'm saying? They know everything that went into it. You know what I'm saying? But if it like say it was a random person, you know what I'm saying, they say, oh man, it's up down for me. You know what I'm saying? It's going back for me. Personally, I want to be like, do you know what I was saying though? Did you get it though? You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'll start breaking it down. You're gonna be like, shit.
Yeah, true. It now makes more sense when they get to conceptualize the matter and then give it back to you in a form that you expected, because now we're speaking the same language, you know. And even the track that you brought out recently, Sticks and Stones, in one of the lyrics in the song, what was your meaning when you said, if I'm going to be a role model, then I gotta be in attendance?
So in that verse, I really wanted to show people. So in the song Sticks and Stones, how it came together was honestly all God. You know what I'm saying? That happened in LA. I met a producer, and we just kind of like clicked as far as musically, and we made that song in a couple days. And I wanted to show Sticks and Stones it wasn't on the project. However, it showed an aspect of the project which was similar to my vibe on Up Down. So on Up Down, let me just take it back real quick. On Up Down, I'm showing two sides of me. I'm showing the side of me which is very, very, driven in a positive way. Got a message to get out there to the people. Now I show a side of me which is normally suppressed, unless I'm really comfortable or with my family, which is me just letting loose and just like if I didn't have to worry about if I didn't have to worry about kids looking up to me, and if I didn't have to worry about my image, like what would I just let loose and just like feel, you know what I'm saying? And so with Sticks and Stones, I was able in LA, I was able to tap into that more. And so that verse, I say, if I'm gonna heal your land, Lord, then I'm gonna need me some tenants. So if you break it down, this is a prayer to God. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, God, you didn't call me to do something. All right, but who's my audience? You know what I'm saying? So I say, if I'm gonna heal your land, Lord, I'm gonna need me some tenants, because we know a landlord has to have tenants. If you a landlord with no tenants, then you just got a big house, or you just got all these apartments that are empty, you know? So it's like, I'm like, if I'm going to heal your land, Lord, I'm going to need me some tenants. So like, God, show me the people that I'm supposed to be in front of. You know what I'm saying? Show me the people I'm supposed to be, you know, helping. And then come to the second verse that you mentioned. If I'm going to be a role model, then I got to be in attendance. We know in school, you know, when the teacher takes roll, you know what I'm saying, they're checking for attendance. You know what I'm saying? But I'm flipping that as, if I'm going to be a role model for the kids, I got to be here. I got to be present. You know what I'm saying? I got to be fully present. So don't take me out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I don't, and I don't even mean like physically, but I mean mentally as well. I mean spiritually. I got to be present. I got to be in attendance. I have to be alert. I have to be on my stuff. You know what I'm saying? I said, as a kid, I was Dennis the Menace, but where you start shouldn't be where you finish.
Ooh.
So it's all like playing on the fact. This is like, the whole thing is all like playing on the fact that I literally went back to teach at the exact same middle school that I went to, that I was Dennis the Menace at, that I was almost kicked out of, that I did get almost 50 officer furloughs or whatever, over 50 officer furloughs in my 2 years there. You know what I'm saying? That I did cause hell to so many teachers there, but I ended up at the same spot. So it's ironic that I said, as a kid, I was Dennis the Menace, but where you start shouldn't be where you finish. So I'm saying, as a kid, I was that person, but where I started, I shouldn't still be like that now. However, I'm in the exact same place, but I'm not the same person. I'm the same person, but I'm not behaving the same way. So it's like, that's why I say it could get deep. I say, as a kid, I was Dennis the Menace. Where you start shouldn't be where you finish. So I can't be going back and forth with y'all on the net as if we playing tennis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you playing tennis, that's back and forth. That's a lot of back and forth over a net.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm really saying, like, I can't be wasting my time arguing with people online, you know what I'm saying, on the net. You know what I'm saying? When I'm on a mission to make sure I don't finish in the same way that I started. You know what I'm saying? I can't be a man and be a child at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be going back and forth with y'all on the net as if we playing tennis. I'm sorry, y'all playing by yourself. Y'all playing an iPhone game with the computer, but you're not playing with me. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
man, that's pretty much what I meant by that that line right there.
That's dope. That's dope. I like the way you put that in perspective, and you're now giving people 2 bars explaining 10 years. You know, it's like now they gotta know what were you doing then that you're not doing now, and the people who know what you were doing, and then they see you now and they're like, damn, he's really doing it, so I can do it too. So it's like torching that light to the next person, letting them know that it's possible, and you're able to go back and forth but still find your purpose and really settle down, you know? So speaking of Sticks and Stones, and you're talking about going back and forth, let's go back to the first track, Going Back. When you featured the 2 people in this song, and you were in the studio and you were starting this project and you began, there's a very, very special moment in the beginning of the song. And let me know, what was your plan when you actually did this first track, and how did it resonate into completing the project? Because this first track really sets the tone for the rest of the project.
Yeah, it was about a year ago. My big bro, one of my homies, Tunde, came to me, told me he really love what I'm doing with the music, and he wants me to help him with a theme song. He wants a theme song. He wants his own theme song. He's doing a documentary. He wants a theme song, and he kind of wants he wants me to create it. He wants it to be one of my songs. So he was asking me about my songs. What song do I think will fit? I'm like, might as well just make one from scratch. I created the song, and we went into the studio. He was there, but he was never supposed to be on the song. He was never supposed to actually be a part of the song, But in that moment of him being there, it was just like it fit so perfectly with what we were doing, the documentary, my project, that this kind of started the momentum of my project. Okay, I'm finna create something and put it together, and it started with this song. And so it was just, it fits so perfectly that he was talking about being raised in A.G.E and how he kind of overcame that, and how at the age of 15 he kind of got his head on straight and was like, nah, I want to make a difference in my life. I want to make a difference in my family. All of these things. It just fits so perfectly with the story that I was portraying of my own life through this music. So that worked out so well, and he actually asked me that night, like, yeah, I want to be featured on the song. You know what I'm saying? Give him the credit. And honestly, I was like, boy, that was a voice ad lib. You know what I'm saying? Voice, that's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? You don't feature somebody based off of, you know what I'm saying, just talking on a track. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you rap or sing or something, then maybe, you know what I'm saying? But so at the time, I kind of laughed it off, but I always knew I was gonna show him that love, but I laughed it off. A few months later, you know what I'm saying, finding out he's sick. You know what I'm saying? He in the hospital sick, and I haven't made no moves since then, regarding the tape, because it's just, I've been so busy with teaching and all this stuff. I ain't really make too much moves with it. So boom, this just ignites a flame in me, like, we got to get this done. So from the original version of the track, one of my friends, Sykes, heard it, and in the background he was saying, "Who want war? We want war. We want all that. Who want war? We want war. We want all that." And I was like, bro, that needs to be on the track. You know what I'm saying? Like, that needs to be there for sure. You know what I'm saying? And he was just willing to come in and do that as background vocals, not even asking for, you know what I'm saying, the credit. But it was just like, when things started rolling, and like I said, my friend Tunde really started getting sick, it was just like, not only do they deserve the credit, you know what I'm saying, but they deserve the recognition. They deserve all of their flowers while they could still get it, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of was a catalyst for me to try to complete the tape, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know how much time I had with my bro, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, fortunately, when the song was completely done, I was able to send it to him. He loved it, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, he wasn't around for the completion of the project, which I dropped in August. He passed away in April. I dropped in September. He passed away in April. So that was it. And I just felt like I dedicated. If this was a book, he would be in the dedication section. You know what I'm saying? Like, dedicated to my big bro, Tunde Swag O'Neal. You know what I'm saying? The chief. And so it's like, it was only right to start off the project with his voice. You know what I'm saying? His song. You know what I'm saying? Alternate name of the song is Chief's Intro. So
okay,
that's the backstory behind that right there.
that's
And
deep.
then I kind of allude to it more on Young and Dumb a little bit.
Wow, I've never heard this story before.
I know, man. It's deep. It's deep, but it's real.
It's
and
real.
There's so many stories like it across the world.
Yeah, it's a way of like humbling you, you know, and just making you feel like, yeah, you too, you know, what impact are you leaving behind? What are you trying to say? Because what people hear is what they're going to apply, and if you apply the wrong thing, they'll look back to you as a reference, and now you don't have anything to say because you knew the right thing to do, but you didn't. So now you have a chance to do it so that people cannot have to question you or doubt your conscience.
And so what I'll say is that if you got something on your mind to do, or a vision that come to you, or something you know is good and will help people, just do it. It's like it's better that you do it and you figure out what's wrong or how you can do it better the next time, than for you to procrastinate or for you to overthink it and not do it at all. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really talking to myself here, you know? Like, I just got to understand that I just got to do it. It's like Nike, the reason why Nike was able to come up with such a simple but long-lasting slogan is because it applies to so much. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just try it. Just jump. Just make that jump. Just walk. Just go. Just talk. Just say it. You know what I'm saying? Just go. Just open up. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It can't get more simple than that. Except our natural instinct is it has to be more complicated than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Our natural instinct is that, and I learned that from my big bro. My big bro he would just act, and not impulsively. He still is, you know what I'm saying, very aware of the situation. He's still very cognitive of what the outcome of things might be, but he's not going to sit around on a good idea. He's not going to sit around on a conviction and not act on it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my message to y'all. Like, just go, just do it, just try it, and try it in faith. Try it with the mindset that it is going to work. Because even if it doesn't, then at least if you come in with a mindset that it is going to work, then you're focused on the positives of it and what you did right. If you focus on what you did right, now you can duplicate that and eliminate the things you did wrong. But if you just sit there and never do it, if you never turn the key, you never know if that car is what's wrong with the car. You never know if it's the alternator. You never know if it's the starter, the battery, the engine. You don't know what's wrong with it. So you just got to, like, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, Nike need to pay me. Sometimes I just said their slogan. But really, just do it.
True. It's a big one, bro, because when you think about it, I actually got into find out the definition of just, and there are two types. There is the biblical type, and there's, of course, the dictionary, and they both have the same meaning. The dictionary says it's an adjective based on or behaving according to what is morally right and fair. So I'll say that again. Just is an adjective that is based on or behaving according to what is morally right and fair. In the
justice.
And justice, exactly. Which now in the Bible, it says it's an act of righteousness, which is actual, real, or genuine. So if you're not genuine, if you're not right, if you're not thinking straight, if you're not unbiased, if you're not biased, the word should be unbiased. So if you're biased and you're not even-handed, then you're not able to have a fair mind and be fair.
Facts. In that sense of just, as in this is the right thing to do. Facts. And it's like, just do the just thing. And I feel like I've brought up Young and Dumb a lot because y'all know this song is near and dear to my heart. When I say I was just young and dumb, I want people to understand. I'm saying I was just young and dumb. I was this was like me even saying I was just young and dumb is really not even completely true, because I'm still young and dumb. Like I said, to somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then on the other side of it, I'm saying that was my flaw. That was my issue. That I was just that was just it. It was just that I was young and dumb. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely see how that word just could be broken down into so many different aspects. You know what I'm saying? Just as in justice, just as in something that just happened, just as in that was just it. That was the sole thing. You know what I'm saying? So it all works together. It really does. It all works together.
That's big. And it works when you know that consciously you're able to make that right decision and see that the impact you're making is going to last a lifetime, because every decision has a reaction. Every action has a reaction, you know. And like you said in your track, Rockstar Balling, you said, we got to show them what's real and we got to show them resilience.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a general. I couldn't be a civilian.
Yeah.
So we're talking about being real, about being just in the right place to do the right thing with a fair mindset. So when you think about Rockstar Balling and you said that, what kind of makes that connotation so strong to you that it stands out to somebody else who probably has not even heard the song yet?
I mean, it's like in a world of fake, in a world of fickle, in a world of temporary, it's like I'm calling on all my leaders out there. You know, I'm calling on all of my generals out there. We got to show those that are following. We got to show those that are watching. We got to show those that are paying attention what is real. If we don't, then all they're going to see is the fake. Because there's so much fake that it's time for us to shed light on what's real. Not only what's real, but also shed light on resilience. And being resilient, that is not about being real today and not being real tomorrow. It's about consistently showing up, consistently being authentic, consistently being genuine. You know what I'm saying? We have to be real and we have to be resilient. We have to be both things, because we cannot just show it temporarily. Consistency is key, has been said so many times. So if you just show, good for a little bit of time, evil working around the clock 24/7, the fake is prominent. So we give up, then we give leeway for that. So somebody said it, they were like, you as the light, you have to be just as bold as the dark, because the dark is trying to take over. So you have to be just as bold, if not even more bold than the dark. You have to roar like a lion, even louder than, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm saying, I'm feeling like I'm a general, as in, I can't sit and just watch and just be like, okay, this is what the world is doing. Okay, that's what I need to do. Nah, because it's not real. So I'm like, I'm trying to show them what's real. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to turn these hundreds of thousands, these thousands to millions.
I was just about to say that.
Facts. It takes a hero to look in the mirror and fight with the villain, because it takes you being bold enough to say, this is where I'm starting at. Shout out Michael Jackson. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. This is where it starts at. There's a villain on the other side of me that I have to defeat in order to become that hero, in order to become that general, in order to become that realness, in order to have resilience. It has to be a consistent battle with that person that you see in the mirror that is trying to settle, that is trying to chill, that is trying to be comfortable, that is trying to be fake, that is trying to put on a mask. You have to fight that. It's once you are able to fight that, everything else is easy. But if you can't fight the one that you see in the mirror, if you can't fight that if you can't go through that internal war, that spirit and flesh battle, then you're consistently gonna be overwhelmed by the fights of the world as well. So
And
that
it
was
really,
kind of my
whew,
insight on that. Yeah, like I
that's
said,
deep.
it can get deep. I could talk all day on it.
That's deep for sure. Like it makes everything come back to square one, which is who are you serving? What are you serving? Why are you
Yeah,
serving? And then how are you serving?
yeah,
It's all in works progress. It's all in motion. And I believe that when somebody realizes that this is something that they need to better their lives, then they start acting right and actually start looking for the truth. You know, people don't read nowadays. That's just the sad truth.
yeah,
I hated reading back in high school. I hated reading back in college. But now I'm like, damn, I wish I really, really read a lot then. I mean, it's not lost anymore, but if you think about the ordinary average mindset and reading a book and applying that knowledge is very different. You know, when people say common sense is not common,
facts.
this is it. You know, people, like you mentioned in the earlier episode, if you guys go back to the last episodes that we did with John Patrick, it's like you mentioned a very strong point where you were like, you've put everything out there for people to listen to read, but they themselves don't take that action upon themselves to do their due diligence, which is to read what you have put out or listen to what you've said. And then if you've put out all that information and 2 years later you're like, oh, what you said was dope. If you knew about it 2 years ago when it was making sense or in context, you would have been able to tap more. But now that you've passed that phase, now you're like, oh wow, he was really smart then. No, you've always been smart. It's just that you didn't know what was going on. That's just what I think.
Facts. And I find comfort in knowing that, you know what I'm saying, once it's out in the world, it's out. And, you know what I'm saying, it's timeless. I make sure I really stay away from trying to make the music of temporary that, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to listen to a year from now, 2 years from now, 5, 10, 15 years from now. I want my kids to be able to, you know, jam my music like, you know what I'm saying, like they really love it. So, yeah, for me, it's not even about right now. Yeah, there's people that need healing and help right now. And I pray that God is working for those people. But there's somebody who's not even born yet that's going to hear my song, hear my lyrics, and it's going to heal them. And so that's what keeps me going.
That's deep.
And it's real. Tupac. Get Tupac.
A.G.E. A.G.E, for sure. Wow. Yeah, people definitely need to listen to this and just analyze and know what they want for themselves. And when you do that, it turns your whole life perspective around. You know, people talk about negative things all day. You can turn on the news right now and see something negative. It's just going to set you off. But if you're able to control your emotion, control your joy, and have faith in what you believe in, who you believe in, then all these things can just be temporary, because nobody has been in a bad state forever. Never have I ever, you know, seen that happen. And people just need to know that it's patience, and people just don't have that. But when you do have that, the world is yours. The world is definitely yours.
Thanks.
Yeah, and speaking of the world, let the world know about your merch, because we haven't even touched on that. You know, we want to shed some light on what the merch is going to be about, what it has been about, and what it's about to be about.
Man, when it comes to merch for me, at this point, it's more of, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to make it seem like, let's say capitalism is evil or whatever, but I'm definitely exposing like capitalistic idioms, but with the truth. You know, so when I made my first ever shirt said Limitless Love on it. And my mission with clothing, with merch, was just like somebody can wear a shirt that has a middle finger on it, and you feel it when you read it, and you're just like, you know, you got that vibe. Or somebody can wear a shirt that says, "Don't talk to me," or "I haven't had my coffee yet," or something like that.
Yeah.
Just like that, we can also do the same thing, but, you know, with positive messages. So I began by making shirts that said "Limitless love, love without limits." You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, to where it's almost self-explanatory. I don't have to say anything to these people. All I have to do is show up. You're gonna read the shirt. We read people's shirts. We read people's clothes. Like, we read that before they say anything. Before anybody says anything, you look at their appearance. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know whether they got polo on, whether they rocking UGG boots, whether they rocking Burberry. You know what I'm saying? You look at people's appearance. You know what I'm saying? What they have on. What message are they sending through their dress? So with the merch, with the collaboration with plays, like you see the Adolessons, you see the A-Leaf on Fire, you see the Bible verses that go with it, because it's like, if I don't say anything, I still want my message to be felt. You know what I'm saying? Even if I was mute, if I was deaf, I would still want my message to be heard. You know what I'm saying? Read, seen. So when it comes to that, it's just like, we're just trying to get in on as many products as possible. That's why you're going to see a fanny pack. That's why you're going to see socks. That's why you're going to see a backpack. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're going to see these things, because as many ways as we can get this message out, as many ways as we can spread this light, we're going to. And if that has to, like I said, expose some capitalistic ways, and, you know what I'm saying, we're going to take advantage of that. Because I literally read this in the Bible verse today, like, the truth will set you free, but you have to know the truth. You know what I'm saying? So you will know the truth, and it will set you free. So we just trying to get the truth out in as many different avenues as possible.
Exactly.
So go cop that. Go cop that when it drops. Go cop that.
Exactly. Yeah, when it drops, you guys are all going to know where it's going to be at, how you're going to get access to it, and it's going to be a great one, because it's just going to be really flooding your timeline in December. That's just what I feel.
Facts. And if you ain't tapped into it, you're gonna feel it when you see everybody else it. I can assure you that.
High key. Exactly. Y'all just be prepared. That's just what I want to say.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for sure. And just before we wrap up today's session, I want to know what you want to let people know about the rest of the year into 2021. Like, people are wondering, what's next? For you, what's next? What do you want to tell them that you haven't been able to tell them?
As far as for me, man, as you said, I need y'all to tap in, because the more that I'm understanding my identity, the more I'm getting closer to God, and the more that I'm, you know what I'm saying, expressing my creativity, the better this stuff is getting. So if you've been rocking with me before, like, it's so much more in store. And if you have no idea who I am, this is a great time to hop in. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna call you no bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? This is a great time to hop in, because I say this is really just the beginning of it. And I got some visuals that are really eye-opening, that's really gonna make you think, and it's really gonna touch your heart. And I got some more music. The music has been flowing out of me. You can't even imagine. You know what I'm saying? I feel like my creativity with the music, and it's at an all-time right now. Like, it's just flowing. Like, it's just flowing out. Even my freestyles, you know what I'm saying, getting better. And so, of course, with social media, I think that's been holding me back, but I can't really use that as an excuse any longer. Social media been holding me back. The communication on social media has been thwarted with the algorithm. So I'm not really able to reach like all of my followers. Like I got all these followers, but it doesn't really mean much if they're not able to see my stuff. So we figuring it out though. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no complaints on this side. We figuring it out. Just need y'all to continue to tap in, and more than you tap into me, I want you to tap into yourself. And if you sitting here listening like, I don't know what my thing is. It's not about knowing what your thing is. It's just about knowing who you are. So that's like the first step, is just figuring out who you are. After that, everything else starts to come naturally, starts to come easy. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be able to pat yourself on the back and say, I'm good at this. I love this. I really have a passion for this. I really value this. Because these are the things that define who you are. So once you figure that out, now you can say, okay, I need to be a teacher. Now you can say, okay, when I'm making music, I need to have this audience in mind. When I'm creating videos, that's the point where I got to. I had to figure out who I was. You know what I'm saying? And it's not an easy process. And you are gonna have to lean on God. You are gonna have to lean on a higher power, because you can't get that on the human frequency. You just can't. You know what I'm saying? You are going to have to separate from people. You are going to have to do your own thing, lock in with yourself for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I need y'all to get from me. If you don't get anything from me, it's tap in with yourselves. Tap in with yourself. There's a treasure box. In elementary school, we had treasure boxes. You know what I'm saying? There's a treasure box inside of you just waiting to be opened up. Tap in with yourself. Tap in.
That's a big one. Just like Stevie Wonder also said, you just have to walk into it.
Thanks.
It's amazing how life is just so simple but complex. But we make it complex because we see all the simple things that, seem to look distorted. But it's really not. It's more like disguise with a surprise. Like you mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, you said when things burn out, when things happen for bad, it's like there's a new beginning, there's a rebirth. And people don't think about that rebirth until it happens, but the process is what people don't want to get into too much.
Yeah.
And when you trust the process, just like Jonah was in the whale, in the belly of the whale, it's like you get to realize that in your darkest moments is when the brightest light comes out.
Wow. That's real.
That's deep. So I really appreciate you for, getting into the playroom again and being one with everybody, letting everybody know what you're on about. And it's just an amazing time to be alive and to see what's happening. So when people see the videos, when people listen to this podcast, when they, track back, they'll know that, okay, he had one message and the message was definitely sent to the right person.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And I appreciate y'all for having me every single time. It's a blessing.
Anytime.
It's just the beginning, though. Like I said, it's just the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. This is a start to God knows what's going to happen next year. So let's just keep it pushing. Let's keep it working. And yeah, you're going to be on here next time. And when you're here, we'll definitely be talking about what people are thinking about, the merch, what they're doing with the music, the videos, what is happening, what are the challenges people are, running on TikTok videos. Those are things that we're going to be definitely putting on. And like you mentioned with communication, I know that emails are something that people would definitely want to tap into. So to beat the algorithm, we have to be our own unique brand. So it would be really great to see if maybe we can find out from people if they want to leave their email addresses with you, and then you're able to send them actual stuff so that they can actually get directly contacted too.
Yeah, for sure. That's got to be the plan. I'm so with it.
Bet. All right, man. Thank you so much. I'm wishing you a wonderful weekend.
Appreciate you.
Anytime. Take it easy.
For sure.
Peace. Y'all heard it from John Patrick. Get Adolessons, Adolessons right now. It's out now. Get it. Woo! you guys are going to enjoy this weekend because a lot is happening. You know, just stay in check. Stay on the top flight. Stay on the ground. Make sure everything you're doing is sound. And just be blessed. You know, listen to all the tracks on the tape from John Patrick. And you guys will definitely enjoy what you're about to hear. So, with no much further ado, it's about time to get into the weekend. I wish you guys all a wonderful time. Enjoy yourselves. Just stay happy, stay blessed. Peace.